Before you embark on your learning journey, it's a good idea to learn how you can navigate through the course interface and make the best use of the available features. When you access a module, you'll first view the landing page, which displays its title and the content structure. You can begin the module by clicking the Start Module button. This takes you to the first lesson. You can also view the content structure for each module in the left panel. Each module is divided into sections, and each section consists of lessons. You can also navigate to any lesson by clicking the lesson title in the menu. Note that you can go through the lessons in any order, and you can revisit them at any point. Keep in mind that to complete a lesson, you must scroll all the way down until you see the button that indicates the title of the next lesson. You can check your progress of the module at 2 levels. If you're looking for a specific topic, you can use the search feature. Videos are played using a custom smart player, which provides several features. The Captions button enables you to switch off or display the captions in one of the available languages. You can also customize the way captions are displayed by clicking on the caption settings. From here, you can increase or decrease the font size of the captions and even choose between different colors and transparency levels for the caption's text and background. If you prefer a faster or slower playback speed, you can change it in player settings. To navigate to other modules in the course, you click the Previous or Next buttons. You can also click the View Full Path button to view all of the modules available in the course. To complete a course, you must complete all of the modules that are marked Required. You're now ready to expand your learning horizons at UiPath Academy. Happy learning!
UiPath Task Capture collects deeper insights from your subject matter experts. This way, you easily collect employee best practices and convert them into automation opportunities. Use Task Capture to reconnect your process experts and RPA developers. Quickly save your automation suggestions as a process definition document or a workflow diagram. You can even upload them to Automation Hub or directly to Studio. With UiPath Task Capture, you'll easily discover more tasks to automate, no matter where you're at on your RPA journey. Try UiPath Task Capture and let science supercharge RPA process discovery for further workplace transformation.
Hello and welcome to the UiPath Task Capture training. In this video, we'll catch a glimpse of how we can document our tasks while performing them, all with the help of Task Capture. Before diving into the details, let's understand what Task Capture is. Task Capture is a process discovery application that helps business users, subject matter experts, Center of Excellence leaders, and RPA developers collect data about processes carried out across the organization, thus identifying possible automation candidates. The goal of the application is to bridge the gap between these groups to speed up digital transformation and standardize processes. As business users and subject matter experts start documenting their tasks using Task Capture, RPA developers and the COE team use the resulting documentation to develop and implement automation projects. Let's discover how we can transform siloed knowledge into organizational wisdom using Task Capture. After launching the application and selecting to create a new document, we'll discover the two ways of documenting our processes: build diagram and capture process. In case we want to document an entire process with a clear structure and decision flow, we can do so with build diagram. If we want to capture a piece from a bigger structure that is not necessarily known, we choose capture process. Let's imagine you are an HR employee and want to document a very common process. With Task Capture, you'll not only produce an easily digestible how-to guide, useful to the entire organization, but also document a possible automation idea within the HR department. Let's see how we go about this. Let's start by clicking Build Diagram. We now create the process map by adding each step and the relation it has with the other steps. As soon as we finish, we start capturing the actions involved in each step of the process. For that, we need to click Capture Actions now and perform all the actions required to request paid time off in the HR application. Once this is done, we will be able to see all the screenshots that were captured during the operation in the panel on the right. If we need to make edits, we can simply double-click any of the screenshots in the list and use the editor options from the top panel. We can also add annotations such as action title and description. Now let's use the second option available to create process documentation, capture process. We use this option if we want to capture a simple linear process, which is a part of a bigger structure that's not entirely known. Once we click the capture process option, a recording wizard shows up to assist us in every step. This wizard records all the actions that perform as part of the procedure. As a result of the capturing process, Task Capture produces a comprehensive diagram showcasing the workflow of the procedure. All the collected output resulting from either one of these methods can be easily saved in the Task Capture format, exported to Microsoft Word format as an insightful process definition document or PDD, or to UiPath Studio as a skeleton of an automation. And that was it for today. Thank you for watching. Hello and welcome back to the UiPath Task Capture training. In this video, we'll create a process map using the Build Diagram option in Task Capture and discover how to record the actions involved in each step of the process. The Build Diagram option is suitable for complex processes where we know the business logic and variations from the beginning. To translate a process into a diagram, we'll start by mentally visualizing the steps involved in any branching scenarios that exist. For example, consider the process in which we submit the request to take days off from work into the HR application, and then set up auto-reply for emails. Our first step would be to sign into the platform. Click Absence. Select a day or a date range in the calendar, and then submit the request. As the next step, we'll sign into Outlook. Access the settings. And then configure an auto-reply email. While some of us might be very familiar with this process, there are chances our peers might not be. Let's see how we can use the Build Diagram option of Task Capture to document this process for our colleagues. As soon as we select the Build Diagram option, the first sequence element along with the start node are added automatically to the diagram. But before getting into details of the process map, let's build its high-level structure using swim lanes. The swim lanes feature enables us to visually group elements that belong to different parts of the process, such as user roles, process stages, departments, and a lot more. Let's add our first swim lane by navigating to the Edit menu and selecting one of the swim lane options available. There are horizontal and vertical swim lanes that we can use depending on our requirements. For the purpose of this demo, let's set a horizontal and use it in our process map to split the process by the applications involved in it. To rename the swim lane, simply double-click the title and type in the desired name. Now, let's add another swim lane for the Outlook part and finish the high-level structure of the process. Alright, that's done. Now it's time to dive deeper. Let's continue building the process map. We can add a sequence element to represent a group of actions that belong to a step of the process. We can also add a decision, our business rule to branch the workflow, and an end element to mark the end of the process. As we map this process in Task Capture, we'll edit each diagram element to make the documentation as clear and informative as possible. When there is a decision to be made, such as the number of days off that we want to request, we'll add a decision element to create a branching scenario. We'll also link diagram elements together with arrows to help us visualize the entire process better. The map is now ready. Let's now get into the next step and start recording the actions for each sequence. We'll select a sequence and click Start Capture. The recording wizard now appears. At this point, note that we'll need to prepare the environment and close or minimize all applications that we won't be using to avoid generating any unnecessary screenshots. As soon as we hit the Start Capture button on the wizard, the recording starts. Depending on the capturing settings that we'll cover in the next lesson, Task Capture generates screenshots for the specified action, or every mouse click, keyboard input, and hotkey event that we perform when we carry out the process. To put it simply, we just perform all the actions we want to record, and Task Capture automatically documents this process for us. As we proceed, we can always use the pause button to avoid capturing actions that are not part of the process, or to take a short break to focus on something else. In case we want to add more details about the action, we can specify them in the action title or action description fields on the capturing panel. Remember to use dummy data instead of a password or other sensitive information that we might not want to appear in the documentation. We recommend avoiding capturing more than 50 actions per sequence, or else the resulting documentation will be hard to read and challenging to automate. Now that we've finished recording the steps, let's hit stop and get back to the Task Capture diagram builder. For every sequence in the process structure, we can see a list of actions captured, or screenshots. We can select a screenshot and save it as an image file, delete it altogether from the list, create a duplicate, or edit it. Let's look at how we can edit a screenshot. Selecting the Edit Action option opens the Action Editor page. Here, we can edit the action title, add a description, highlight important areas of the screenshot, blur sensitive data, and even recognize text using the built-in OCR technology. We can also use the three-dotted menu available here to copy, delete, or replace the screenshot. Once we're done building the structure, recording the actions, and editing them, we can save or export our work. To do this, let's navigate to the File menu, select the first export option, and then let Task Capture create a process design document or PDD of the process in the Word format. We can also export the file in the XAML format to create a skeleton of the automation in UiPath Studio. Another export option is where we can save our work locally, in Task Capture format, to access it anytime or share it with our colleagues. We'll learn more about saving and exporting options in the next lesson. That brings us to the end of this demo. Thank you for watching.
Reboot work!
Hello and welcome back to the UiPath Task Capture training. In this video, we'll document a process using the Capture Process option and find out more about the available editing options. The Capture Process approach is suitable for scenarios in which we have a simple, linear process that does not have any variations. We can also use it when we don't know the process very well. Once again, let's consider the process of requesting days off. But to reduce variation to the minimum, we'll go with requesting a single day off and then setting up an auto-reply email. Imagine we're already logged into the application and want to submit the request for absence from work. The steps we need to take are simple and straightforward. Let's see how we can document this process using the Capture Process option. Before diving right into the recording part of the process, let's define the actions we want to capture. To do so, let's navigate to the home screen of Task Capture. Select the Settings option and access the Capturing tab. Here, we'll select one of the capturing modes depending on our needs. In the Detailed mode, Task Capture generates screenshots of each action we perform, such as a mouse click, pressed hotkeys, or typed text. The High-Level mode allows us to specify the actions we want to capture. For this process, let's select the high-level mode and capture the screenshots on mouse click only, except for instances when we press the Control key. We can also disable the option of automatically saving the typed text and the text under the cursor in the action description, in cases where we know that the process contains sensitive data. Now, let's go back to the diagram editor screen and start capturing the absence submission process. As soon as we click the Capture Process button, the capturing wizard shows up. At this point, we'll need to ensure to close or minimize all the applications that we won't be using, to avoid generating unnecessary screenshots. When the environment is ready, we'll click the Start Capture button to start the capturing and automatically record all the steps that we perform in the HR application and Outlook. As we work through each step, Task Capture generates a screenshot for every mouse click, just as we specified this in the settings. We can hold the Control key to avoid capturing actions that are not part of the process, or use the pause button to take short breaks to focus on something else. In case we want to add more details about a particular action, we can specify them in the action title or action description fields in the capturing panel. to generate an informative process design document. We recommend that the number of screenshots do not exceed 500 actions per document, as otherwise it becomes hard to read and challenging to automate. Now that we're done with submitting the day off request and configuring the auto reply, let's click the Stop button and return to the Task Capture diagram builder. We see that Task Capture has generated a series of steps or sequences, and each sequence consists of the screenshots of the actions performed. Note how there are only calendar-related actions in the absence calendar sequence. Task Capture has generated dedicated sequences based on the name of the windows where we recorded the actions. We can also group together multiple sequences that belong to a single step in the process by selecting them and then using the Merge Sequences feature. The title of the merged sequence is, by default, a concatenation of the individual titles, but we can change it anytime just by double-clicking it and then editing it. Just like the Build Diagram option, we can select any sequence to see the screenshots captured. Feel free to save the screenshots as image files, delete them from the list, create a duplicate, or edit them. Let's see what the available options for editing a screenshot are. Selecting the Edit Action option opens the Action Editor screen. Here, we can provide details such as the title and description. In the top panel, we'll find options for highlighting, hiding sensitive data, and even for recognizing text within the screenshot using OCR technology. Now that we have finished recording the actions, building the structure, and editing the diagram and screenshots, we can save or create an export of our work. To do this, let's navigate to the File menu. Select the first export option, and then let Task Capture create a process design document or PDD of the process in the Word format. We can also export the file in the XAML format to create a skeleton of the automation in UiPath Studio. Another export option is where we can save our work locally in Task Capture format to access it anytime or share it with our colleagues. We'll learn more about saving and exporting options in the next lesson. That's it for today. Thank you for watching.
Reboot work!
Hello and welcome back to the UiPath Task Capture training. In this video, we'll look at how we can save our work in Task Capture for further editing and sharing. Also, we'll see how easy it is to export our process diagram as a process definition document in Word format, or as in UiPath Studio flowchart. Let's get started. Once we capture and edit all the actions in the process map, it's time to save our work. Task Capture offers multiple saving options, depending on our needs. All these options are available in the File menu. From the File menu, let's click Save As and save our work in the SSP format. This is the default format of Task Capture, and so typically, Anyone who has Task Capture installed and has access to the file thus saved can open it to view or even changes on it. If we're making changes, for example, if we are adding another sequence or a business decision, we'll just need to click Save to apply the changes to the document. Apart from saving, Task Capture also allows us to export our work. There are two main output formats available: the Word document format and the UiPath Studio flowchart format. Besides, we can also save our diagram as an image file to share the process map only. Let's start with the Word document format. Choosing to export our work as a Word document results in a process definition document, or PDD for short. The PDD is a detailed representation of the process map and is the document that serves as starting point for automation projects implemented by our PA developers and their colleagues in the RPA Center of Excellence. Let's export our work as a PDD. We'll give it a name or title as it appears here, a brief description, and an author. And then click Next. This takes us to the template view screen. Task Capture provides two predefined PDD templates, the Automation Hub PDD and the UiPath PDD. Let's first see what options are available for the templates before actually exporting our work. We can edit the template to fit our organization's or customer's branding. To do this, hover over the template and click the Edit Template button. But since this is the default Automation Hub template, we cannot edit it. What we can do instead is create a copy and edit that one. We'll get back to this part of tailoring the template later on, in the customization lesson. For now, let's just give it a better name. For example, the name of the company or the customer that will further use the document. We can share the PDD template by simply using the Export Template option. This action saves the PDD in the default SS Word format to a folder of our choice. Once our colleague receives this SS Word file, they'll just need to import it to their Task Capture instance using the Import Template option on the left. By doing this, they'll be able to both view and edit the template. In case we no longer need the copy of the created template, we can always delete it by clicking Delete Template. After performing the desired changes to the template, we can even change the image output quality by adjusting the options present on the right. Here, we'll change the quality of our screenshots and their size. The higher the quality of the images, the bigger the size of the exported Word PDD file, and the bigger the screenshots on each page, the longer the document will be. Note that these changes will affect the whole PDD. Once we settle on a final version of the PDD, we'll click Export and then browse through the document to check the information filled in by Task Capture. Wondering how Task Capture is able to provide such a detailed document? The reason is that the Word template contains a list of placeholders that are replaced with the actual values during the exporting process. For example, remember the given title, description, and author in the Document Properties section. Now they appear on the cover page of our PDD. Let's scroll through the document to take a closer look at all the information that we have captured. We see how Task Capture has already filled in some information in the Process Overview table. We can either add the rest or pass on the document to anyone else who will further work on this file. Scrolling down further, we see the high-level diagram inserted in the As is Process Map part of the document. High-level and detailed statistics are available in the document. The detailed process statistics showcase information about the number of mouse clicks, text entries, and keys pressed for each captured window. Finally, we see each of the process actions containing annotations, the estimated time, and the type of the action along with the corresponding screenshots. This is how exporting a PDD in Word format looks like, and the options it offers. Now, let's go back to another export type, which is UiPath Studio Workflow. This option outputs the process captured previously in XAML format that we can directly use in UiPath Studio as a skeleton of the automation. The RPA developer will be able to take this further and turn it into a full automation project. Let's see it in action. As we can see, Task Capture saved the process map as a flowchart in Studio. Let's open one of the sequences to check the data that is saved in the XAML file. We see here that the selector has already been extracted during capturing. The selector is the unique identifier of an element on the screen, and having it already captured can be very useful for the RPA developer. However, keep in mind that this selector is not the same as what Studio normally produces, so it may require debugging in some cases. Some process steps are matched with Studio activities, such as click, type into, or send hotkey. Moreover, depending on the event type, some activity data is captured and passed to Studio. For example, the actual key is specified for the send hotkey event, and the button for mouse click is recorded. That was all for task capture saving and exporting options. Thank you for watching.
Reboot back!
Hello and welcome back to the UiPath Task Capture training. In this video, we'll customize the elements in the Action Editor to style annotations to the screenshots according to our requirements. Let's take a look at a screenshot captured in the process of requesting time off. Using the Action Editor, we can highlight a part of the screenshot, insert a text box, a shape, an arrow, or other elements. Each time we start a new session of task capture and document a process, the Action Editor offers the same default options. But what if we want to personalize the elements available in the Action Editor to make the documentation more consistent and in line with our needs? Task Capture offers an inbuilt functionality that enables us to customize and save our styles. Let's access this functionality by clicking the Settings tab from the home screen and then clicking the Branding tab. We can now start changing the default styles to ones that better suit our needs. Let's see how it works. In the Branding tab, we can indicate the desired style for shapes, lines, sequences, highlights, and text elements. For example, if we want to change the fill color of shape elements, we can click the fill color icon and select our preferred color. We can likewise set the default styles for the other elements as per our preferences. Once we settle on the most appropriate styles, let's navigate back to the Action Editor and add a new shape. The shape style now reflects the preferences that we defined. Note that this change doesn't affect any of the elements that were added earlier. Any new annotations that we add to the screenshots in the Action Editor will now reflect the default style that we configured earlier in the branding settings. We've come to the end of this demo on customizing the elements in the branding settings. Thanks for watching.
Reboot back!
Hello and welcome back to the UiPath Task Capture training. In this video, we'll change the interface language in Task Capture and export a file in the language of our choice. Let's start by taking a look at the templates available for Word export. By default, the language of the Task Capture interface, as well as of both Automation Hub PDD and UiPath PDD templates, are English. Apart from English, the Automation Hub PDD can be exported in Japanese as well, whereas the UiPath PDD template is available in 12 different languages. To change the language in Task Capture, All we need to do is navigate to the home page. Click the Settings tab, and then select the preferred language. Let's select German and see what happens. The task capture interface language has now changed to German. There's more. Once we change the interface language, the language of the PDD templates changes accordingly as well. Let's check this out. Export the process diagram to Word. Generate the process definition document using the UiPath PDD template. And note how the output structure remains the same, but the language has been updated. That's it for today. Thank you for watching.
Reboot work!
Hello and welcome to the UiPath Task Capture training. In this video, we will customize the template for PDD word exports. Let's get started. As of now, Task Capture has two types of process definition document templates: Automation Hub PDD and UiPath PDD. However, if we want to create a customized template to match our preferences or our customers' preferences, we can do that in just a few clicks. Hover over the default template and click the Edit Template button to create a copy of the template. This action opens the newly created copy of the Word template. We can edit this Word document and make all the desired changes that we would typically do when working with the tool. Now, let's customize this template. If we feel that the template contains irrelevant information, we can delete those and keep only the essential sections. For instance, we can leave just the title page and the process description part, and remove the rest. Now let's change the table style and add the company logo. All right, it's done. One point to note here is about placeholders inside the template, which are replaced with actual values while exporting. Ensure that all placeholders appear in curly brackets. Else, the information will not be filled in or imported. Let's take the title and description placeholders as examples, as long as we place these inside curly brackets. Task Capture will do the rest during export. Don't forget to save the changes to the template. The next step in customizing the template is to rename it. To do this, let's navigate back to Task Capture. Hover over the created copy and click Rename Template. In the pop-up, we can specify a new name for the template and save it. Once we are done with customizing the template, it's time to check the results. We'll make sure the custom template is selected and then export the document. The results reflect our preferences and are the same as what we just edited. All the customized colors, the company logo, and the process details are included in the document. That was it for today. Thank you for watching.